Hello you guys and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about 10 podcasts that you can listen to improve your listening skill, and we're going to divide them into levels. So they are going to be between A1 and A2, B1 and B1 to C1. So let's dive in. All right, let's start with the podcasts for beginners. If you are an intermediate, you can skip the video to the intermediate and you can see the timestamps in the description. So for our beautiful beginners, we have the first podcast, which is English Class 101.
Do they have any vending machines here? Yeah, they're back by the entrance. I saw those, but all they had was pop.
Now, obviously from the name English 101, it means that it is targeted for complete beginners. Why is it great? It's great because it offers structured learning in a way that suits the beginners. And it targets everyday life things and everyday life topics like greetings and daily vocabulary. And the episodes of this podcast is designed specifically for new learners. Now, for the podcasts that are for A1 and A2, so if your level is level 1 or level 2, these podcasts are suitable for you. The second podcast is Coffee Break English.
The difficult thing about make and do is that there aren't really many rules, but there are 2 rules.
2 rules is good.
2 rules is enough. First of all, we use make when we are creating or producing something.
It is targeted at learners who are A1 and A2. And why it is great? It's because it offers bite-sized lessons. So when you enter as a beginner, you will not find it draining to watch a very long episode or listen to a very long episode. It's going to be manageable and relaxing, and you can just do like 5 to 10 minutes a day of this podcast. The third podcast, which is also still at the level of A1 and A2, is British Council Podcasts, and it's for the elementary level.
It's kind of my strategy for life, which is just smile.
There's a way to be a foreigner in a country to ingratiate yourself.
What about what? Not chill.
This podcast is my absolute favorite. I've been recommending this podcast for almost every learner that asks me about English podcasts. Why? Because I find it really easy, really nice. You get exposed to different dialects and different accents, and they don't only use one accent. It is mainly British, but you can also get exposed to different British accents in this podcast. So I do recommend this third one very much. All right, and we are at number 4, which is still with the beginners. If you are a fan of catching up with current events and the news, and you want to do it in English, I recommend this channel, which is Breaking News English. I know it sounds like it's going to be a hard one or a hard listen, but trust me, they simplified it in a way that suits your level, especially with the beginners. So if you're not a fan of just listening to daily things and things that you already know in the language, and your level is still at A1 and A2, this is going to be a very good channel for you. Now let's move on to the podcasts that offer levels that are from A1 to B1. So it's not only for beginners, it's both beginners to intermediate. So you can like navigate your way through the podcast and find the thing that suits your level. Number 5 on the list, which is from the A1 to B1, is Voice of America's Learning English.
In early November, Donald Trump won the U.S. presidential election to become America's 47th president. Integrity.
Now, why is this podcast really nice and helpful? It's because it offers simplified speech and contextual topics that help the learners stay up to date with current global events. So you as a learner will not find the pace of speaking really fast, and it's not going to be like, you know, listening to a movie or listening to a documentary or watching the news online. It's actually offered for you as a learner in a really nice way that makes you want to listen more and more. And number 6, which is ESL Pod.
If I understand the terms correctly, The length of the contract would be 1 year with a 1-year option.
This channel offers podcasts for A2 to B1. So the nice thing about this channel is that they offer conversation, so you can listen to daily conversation, but they are given and they are spoken in a slow manner. So it's a slow pace, it offers explanation, and it offers details of conversation. So you are improving your listening, and at the same time you are listening to conversational topics. All right, jumping to our beautiful intermediates to advanced level. Now those podcasts are targeted at learners who are between B1 and C1. So this one, which is number 7 on the list, it's The English We Speak for BBC.
And welcome to The English We Speak. I'm Neil, and
hi everyone. I'm Feifei, and I've just
Feifei's here with me. Feifei, what's going on?
yes, and today we're here with you.
Now the nice thing about this channel is that it is targeted at the B1 learners, but at the same time it gives you idiomatic expressions that would be used in daily life with different local dialects in the British English and the American English. So if you are an avid learner who likes to learn new expressions, new idioms, then this podcast is for you. Number 8 on the list is BBC 6-Minute English.
Hello, this is 6-Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Neil.
And I'm Beth.
When I was a boy, I wanted to be a fireman when I grew up. How about you, Beth? Did you have any childhood dreams?
I wanted to be an astronaut and fly to the moon.
So this podcast offers short topical episodes that offers so many different topics about so many things in life. And if you are a learner who has good grasp of English and you like to expand your knowledge about different topics in life and at the same time learn English, then this podcast is really good for you. And number 9 is All Ears English Podcast.
Of your house. Ooh, my door is a bluish purple. I believe you would call it periwinkle.
Oh, that is very fun. And one of the most fun names for a color, periwinkle. I love that.
Periwinkle. It's like a light. Is it blue? Is it light blue? Is it light purple? I don't know.
It is targeted at students who are between B1 to B2. And the nice thing about it is that it emphasizes the conversational skills and the American culture. If you are a fan of learning about the American culture, then this podcast is good for you. And at the same time, it's going to improve your practical speaking skills. And the last one for the day is Luke's English Podcast.
2021, I mean, the Civil War was still going on, essentially.
Yeah.
Not sort of to the same extent that it had been in previous years, but it was still in the sort of stalemate situation, let's say. What's happened since then? Can you talk about it?
Of course, of course. First, let me tell you something. It's never been a civil war. It's always been a revolution against a dictator who kills his own people. And because people said no, like you can't just like proceed with your corruption and this corrupt government, you can't just like kill people, you can't just harm people of this country.
It is targeted at students who are between B2 and C1. This one is also among my favorite ones, and I usually use it in my online classes to help my students improve their listening skill. This podcast offers short stories about so many different things in life, and it addresses humor, it addresses culture, and so many different topics. So if you are a learner who likes to dive deep in English and improve your listening skill, then this channel is for you. All right, you guys, and that's it for today's video. I hope that you found it useful. If you have other suggestions for English podcasts, please drop them down in the comments below for other learners to see and benefit from. And I am going to attach every single podcast link in the description so it gives you an easier access to it. That's it, you guys, for today's video. See you in another one. Goodbye.